Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, Omari JAHI Aton.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Peace. Welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, Omari JAHI. And today we need to have a family meeting, y'all. We need to have a conversation that might be a little uncomfortable for everybody, for some people, but it's a conversation that we cannot afford to avoid any longer. I'm telling you, we hear the phrase all the time, do it for the culture, protect the culture. But I want us to pause and ask ourselves a very hard and very honest question. The Black culture we are celebrating today, is it our greatest strength, or is it an anchor that we hold around our neck and is holding our race down as a people? We're going to have this conversation today. But before that, I want to introduce my co-host. Please put your hands together for Miss Darlene. Put your hands together for Mr. V in the building. And put your hands together for Miss Kim. Me too. Hey, welcome, y'all. Welcome to the podcast, y'all. And tonight, we're going to have a conversation about Black culture. Does it hinder the Black race? Or, do we really understand what a Black culture is? You know, we want to have that conversation tonight because we want to leave the podcast tonight with a clear understanding. And when we hear people talking about the culture, or we should protect the culture, what are we really protecting? You know, we need to really understand that. So I want to start us off with a video that kind of depicts, I think it's 5 categories that depict a culture. All right. So here's the video. Here's the first video. I got 2 of them, but here's the first one.
This is all the things. This is all the things to qualify as a culture is food, music, clothing, language, tradition.
So there you have it. Those are the 5 things that depict or that breaks down a culture. And I wrote them down. Food. That means the food of your culture or your people or your race or your ethnic group, the food. The music of your ethnic group, the clothing that your group wears, the language that they speak, and their traditions. These are all bullet points of what is considered a culture. Now, Black people, I Googled it, because I don't know everything, and I'm not saying that Google knows everything, but when they started talking about Black food, this is what I Googled. It said soul food, which is an African-American cuisine. And inside of soul food, they say that our meats that's considered Black food, of course, number 1, fried chicken. fried chicken, smothered pork chops, fried catfish, oxtails, chitterlings. Oh my God. Barf. But anyway, and then they say the sides that would be considered Black food or Black cultural food would be collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, and baked macaroni and cheese, candy yams, black-eyed peas, and cornbread. Our desserts, they say, is sweet potato pie, peach cobbler, and pound cake. And they say our drinks is sweet tea and they said some kind of drink, Kool-Aid. just let me put it out there. Kool-Aid. grape, orange, green, whatever, Kool-Aid, sweet tea. Now, do you guys agree with this as far as being the cultural food for Black people?
For
the most part, yes.
I mean, we all know fried chicken. We know
For the
that.
most part, it is. It is. I don't know about that Kool-Aid because nobody drink Kool-Aid anymore. But
I mean,
right. But that sweet tea, especially in the South, they love sweet tea.
Right. So, I mean, so if that's what they call, that's a part of Black culture that we eat that kind of food, and I don't eat that crap. Like I don't eat chicken, I don't eat none of that stuff. Does that mean I ain't Black?
No.
Right. So, if what was the other thing they said? Food or music. Our music depicts our culture. Now, is the music that we listen to today Black music? Or are we mimicking other ethnic groups with the music that we create?
It's hard to say. I would say music from back like in the late 70s, early 80s. I would say it's more so like, Black cultural music because it was talking about the changes we're going through and the struggles we were going through as a culture, as a race. But now, when they introduced the rap and R&Bs and the wretchedness that we have now, it kind of got away from that. I would say it's not the same.
Well, I've heard people say that everything comes from Black folks. Now, let me explain to you what I'm saying here, and this is what I've heard. Like they say, you hear K-pop. I think that's a new kind of style of music. K-pop. You ever heard of that?
I heard of them, but I haven't listened to that style of music.
Yeah, K-pop is supposed to be this Japanese or Chinese or
Korean. I think they're Korean.
Korean. Okay.
They're Korean. They're Korean.
Right. It's Korean music, but it's really R&B and hip hop that's being implemented by Korean people. They do it and they call it K-pop.
And they're getting famous off of that too.
Yes. But the thing is, it's being claimed that they're just mimicking rap music and R&B.
Right. They listen to our music.
Which is from Black people.
Right.
So would it be safe? I mean, because even if you look at what's this rock and roll, they say Chuck Berry back in the day, he was the originator of rock and roll, and any other style of music. Well, they say the style of music that Black people originated was spirituals, gospel, and blues. That's the original music that we listened to when we were in the South. And then when we came up north, they said it was something else. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up.
Jazz. When did jazz come in there?
Yeah, that's the next thing. The golden era. They say jazz, R&B, and soul. That's what came up next. And it says as Black populations migrated to urban centers during the Great Migrations, the music evolved into more complex and commercial forms. Jazz, R&B, rhythm and blues, and soul music. Energizing, in the 50s. Remember they used to do the jigaboo dances and all that stuff? They call that soul music. Then later on, they said in the innovator stage, when our music evolved, then that's when rock and roll came in and funk. And then it evolved after that into the revolutionary stage. Well, that's where hip hop, house music, and techno came in. But all this came from black people. This is what they're saying. You see, so is it really our culture, or are we perpetuating something else? You see what I'm saying? Or are we mimicking other people's culture? Just like crab legs and lobsters and sushi and all that stuff. We didn't
That's
eat
not
that
our
mess.
culture. That's not our culture.
Right, but we breaking our necks. We think we doing something when we eat that now. You know,
Lamb chops, eating lamb chops now.
even eating them big T-bone steaks. You see what I'm saying? That is not our culture.
No.
But we are mimicking somebody else. You know, when we go out and we go to what's that place where you get the steaks? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all go there. Maybe not all of y'all. What's that place? Y'all know what I'm talking about, where you get your steaks and stuff. But when you go there and you eat that kind of food, or if you go to Red Lobster and you go to get your lobster tails and your shrimps and all of that stuff, you know, are we mimicking, or are we or do we believe because other ethnic groups that we see them as being a little better than us or a step ahead of us, and so we try to mimic them as much as possible? We talk like them. We conduct business like
starting to look like them.
Say again?
I said we're starting to look like them, or want to look like them.
All the above. You see, because I believe we've been made to think that the more we become them, the more successful we'll be, because that they are the ones that seem to be successful in life. How they do business, how they operate within the family structure, you know, and things of that nature. You know, I mean, if you really look at it, you know, why are we eating other people's food?
Curiosity.
And then if you look at it, other people are trying to be like us.
Right.
They getting the twists and the braids, you know, trying to braid their little hairs up, to, you know, trying to wear dreadlocks, you know. But I have to ask the question now. I'm not talking about the black culture. You know, we already know about the resilience of and the brilliance of black people back in the day, and I'm talking about the commercialized images that have been packaged by the media, heavily funded and sold right back to our youth. The version of our culture that glorifies dysfunction, punishes intellect, and sells or calls self-destruction authentic. You know, I got this another video I want to show you guys, and hopefully it kind of help us to with this conversation, because there's a new thing out called I think it's called Black Frustration or something to that effect. But this video gonna break it down. I'm not gonna play the whole thing; it's kind of long, but I'm gonna just play the first part of it.
It's getting spooky. I just came across something called black fatigue, and basically it's white Americans are sick of our shit.
I got news for you. Black Americans are sick of your shit. Black people are sick of black people's shit.
Basically, society is saying that they're tired of how black people are blaming things that have happened to us historically in the past, and they are also now adding different things that they have seen in society to that behavior as well, like loud mouthing, or maybe, you know, using certain words or certain behaviors in public.
Black fatigue seems to be growing, especially within the black community. There's a growing frustration within certain behaviors, and more people are starting to speak up about it.
White people, black people, Hispanic people are saying we have black fatigue because of the behavior of some black people.
It's not racist to call black people out for their behavior and what they're doing to society at this moment. I'm glad people are noticing this because it's been so many years and it's finally catching up to y'all.
Okay. So now this black fatigue. Now I'm only bringing this up because when we talk about culture, remember it's these things that dictate what your culture is. And again, there are food, music, your clothing, your language, and your traditions. You know, the things that you traditionally do as Black people. That's one of the things I want to point out too, our traditions. Check this out. It says community and kinship gatherings. In the Black culture, family extends far beyond immediate blood relatives. The community relies heavily on the village concept. Family reunions is a part of Black traditions. Family cookouts and barbecues is a tradition of the Black culture. And fictitious, I can't even say the word, made up kin, maybe I'll use that word. When you have play brothers and sisters or pretend uncles and my play cousins and all of that, that is a part of the Black culture. What do y'all think about that? Did you ever, would you ever, or have you ever thought about those things? Because see, as we get older and our young people start taking over and controlling what goes on in our families, are we seeing a lot of family reunions anymore? So is the culture changing, or are we changing and we picking up other people's culture?
I would say it's changing. Like you said, as we're getting older, the younger generation are not keeping up with stuff we did in the past. So I would say it's changing.
So I have to ask the question again. Is the culture hindering us as a race?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Are we better in 2026 than we was in 1990?
No.
I say as a nation, we're not good.
Well,
the culture, as a nation, we're not good.
But I'm just speaking specifically as for the Black culture and the Black race in specific. Is the Black race better in 2026 than it was in 1990? And if it's not, is it because the culture has changed? Meaning that the food that we eat, the clothes we wear, the music we listen to, the language that we speak, and the traditions that we carry on, if that's different, is that the reason why it's not better? Our culture is not better, or our race is not better in 2026 as it was in 1990.
Yeah, I think the culture changed for us. The culture changed because our landscape, if I'm saying that right, our landscape has changed. So the culture changed because we, things that have been going on with us and in our community, and us not taking accountability and responsibility to pass those traditions and to pass that culture thing down to our people. Because we're too busy doing everything else. Like you might bring up, we're too busy trying to maybe do what others are doing. We're too busy trying to get to the top. We're too busy trying to get to that deluxe apartment in the sky or whatnot, or whatever we're doing. And not just that though, but because it's a reason for that, because we want better for ourselves because of the things out here. And it always comes back to this for me. The things that been done to the Black community, the things that been the way things been designed for the Black community, you know what I'm saying? As far as taking the Black man out the household, as far as just all these different things. So of course with that comes the culture change, because we don't have nobody to pass those traditions and stuff down too, like grandma and great grandma and them used to pass down to us.
Right. Man, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. You know, and excuse me, I think that's kind of why I raised this question, because I don't think we really look at it like this. You know, as Black people, we see it, but we don't look at it as, you know, our stuff has changed tremendously, you know, over the past 20, 30 years. And then, and like the lady was saying on the video about Black fatigue, how we tired. Because see, whether we know it or not, the media, social media, the primetime media, they focus on that stuff that they were talking about in that video, the things that everybody's is fatigued or pissed off about, the loudness. You know, on my podcast this morning, I was talking about, you know, how we can be in a doctor's office in the lobby, and we'll be holding a phone conversation on speakerphone, you know, cussing. MF, hell no. Tell that MF I'll be there tomorrow. I'm coming there right now. You know, and then the other person on the other end, F that. No. Why don't you just come tomorrow? You know, your whole conversation is being heard by everybody in the doggone waiting room now, you know, and we don't think anything's wrong with that. And like, I guess going to what V is saying, nobody taught us, you know, where does common sense come in that says, damn, why don't I just put my earbuds in?
They ain't just us though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they focus, you know, it's like they want to point that just on us. They ain't just us. You know what I'm saying? You got folks all colors and races that act that way and be that way.
Exactly. But that's why I was saying the media and social media, they focus that on us, just like welfare. They act like we the welfare kings and queens. You see what I'm saying? But really, it's Caucasian people. It's more of them on welfare than it is Black people. You see what I'm saying? But we don't know that because the media and social media don't report anything like that, those kind of statistics. You know, they make it seem like it's just us, you know? And so, again, this is why I'm saying we need to be more aware of, you know, what we're dealing with as far as when we talk about this culture thing. You know, I know, I remember the time where even with clothing, they say your clothing is part of your culture, right? And this morning we were talking about tattoos and piercings, right? And a young lady said, she put a comment and she said that tattoos and piercings were a part of African culture. And I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, and it was a part of African culture, but there were clothing, or there was a African clothing that went along with that. If a person had a nose piercing, or I've even seen those with big old round holes in their earlobes and stuff like that, you know. But when you see people like that, they usually have on a African dashiki or a head wrap if it's a sister, you know. I've seen some that have big bones in their nose, you know, these kind of piercings and stuff like that. But those kind of things I can see that go with the culture, the Black culture, because those people, you'll see them with their dashikis on, their African garb. They be wearing robes and things of that nature, head wraps, kufis. You'll see all that accompany the piercings and the tattoos or whatever. But when you start seeing it and it's minus the African garb, then is that really African culture or Black culture? Or has it evolved into something else? You can't call it African culture if you don't have the clothing connected to it, you don't have the language connected to it, you don't have the traditions connected to it. Y'all kind of following me now? As far as all of this stuff is what culture is. So I don't believe we have, well, I can't really say, because if Black people are doing these things today, then we can say that that's Black culture, right? If Black people are doing it, then it must be Black culture, especially if it's the majority of Black people.
Right.
Like, I just heard about a whole bunch of young people downtown tearing up cars, jumping up and down on people's cars, and like about 1,000 young Black people. They met up downtown a couple of days ago or whatever, and just went crazy vandalizing people's cars. Did y'all hear anything about that?
I heard about that and the one in Hyde Park the other day.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, is that our culture now?
It seems like it.
People's property?
These teen takeovers.
But don't we sing the song? I believe the children are our future.
Then we did. Now, I don't think people singing that song anymore.
Well, they didn't say what kind of future. They say it's going to be our future, but they didn't say what kind of future that would be.
I don't think they imagine this type of future.
I don't think so either. But here we are, aren't we? Here we are.
We are in the future. If you look at it back then, this is the future.
And if we look at these kids, and I hate to keep bringing them up. I hate to even keep calling them kids because they ain't kids. A kid is a baby goat. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're children. They are our children. And I used to say that all the time. Stop calling our children kids. That gives well, anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But we get so caught up in this thing. Well, probably not us, but I hear all of our young, like, even when you go to a what do they call it? Spoken word event, and usually at the spoken word events, or you'll have a lot of people that are cultural minded, Black cultural. If you had a Black one, I don't know about any other races that have spoken word events, but usually there's a cultural mindset that's connected to these spoken word shows and events and things like that. And I've even been noticing in that when I first started going to them, when they first came out, it was about Black excellence. It was about Black power. It was about the Black queen overcoming, and it was all that kind of stuff. And now it's about drop your drawers, bend you over, and all kind of other little sexual innuendos in the poetry. I'm not saying that all poets are doing this now. I'm saying that when we're talking about culture now, and how it's changing, we can see it in everything. We see it in the music, everything that deals with our culture. We see it in the food that we eat. We see it in the clothes that we wear, because to be honest with you, I'm seeing a connection to the clothing that our women are wearing. And it's not all the women, but a lot of women that are connected to pornography. The clothing and the dress and the style, or prostitutes. And I'm not saying that to speak badly about Black women that dress like that. I'm saying that this is something that's out there that people are picking up on. Our young ladies are picking up on, you know, and even the men with the sagging pants, you know, too many OGs came out on the internet and all over the internet, letting people know where that concept came from, you know, sagging. And it's a white thing. It's a Caucasian thing that was in jail. Where, I don't know if you all knew this, but I'm gonna just say it now so that we could put it on the record so that people would know that sagging pants was a sign of I'm available in the prison system, where men would wear their pants sagging off their butt to let other men know that I swing that way. You know, and so when it came out of the prisons, and well, maybe it's when people started being released from prison, they came out in society, they began to start showing that style of dress out here, and then maybe some rapper picked it up. I don't know. But my point is that these things affect young people, just like we was talking about tattoos earlier today. You know, our athletes, basketball stars that got all the whole arms are sleeved up and tatted up, and legs, and some of them even got face tats, you know. This influences young people. And they begin to start mimicking and imitating what? Their idols. Now, our idols back in the day, when we were growing up, they didn't have tattoos. And so we don't have tattoos. You see what I'm saying? And it makes a whole lot of sense. Who is this? This is Carl. Carl says, what you talking about, Willis? Oh, Carl. See, you showing your age, man. You showing your age, Carl. We know that's what's that? Different Strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Carl. I don't know what you meant by that, but we know what era you grew up in. But anyway, I'm just saying. Now I want us to check out a little bit more of this video. You know, because they go into this fatigue thing and they make some really, I believe, very serious points about these certain black people. It's not even all. If I put a percentage on it, I would say it's probably 30%. And that's high. That 30% of the entire black race that acts like this. And they make some good points. I want y'all to check out the rest of it. Here we go.
So is there some truth to it? Or is it just another form of racism? And how come so many black people are starting to speak up about this now? Either way, we got a lot to talk about today. Now, black fatigue is a growing term in the social media world, a phrase that's meant to explain a rising frustration, dissatisfaction, and even resentment towards a small portion of the black community and some of the dysfunctional behaviors that are increasingly being called out. But here's the thing, this isn't a new term. The phrase black fatigue was originally coined in 2020 by Mary Frances Winters, a black author from New York. She was inspired to explore the concept after hearing the same phrase come up again and again from black millennials. I'm tired, they kept on saying. The exhaustion wasn't just physical, it ran deep, tied to emotion, history, and identity. In her book, Black Fatigue, How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit, she explains that the original meaning of the term was about the centuries-long toll of the systematic racism passed down through generations. Now that was the original definition, but now the term has taken on a completely new meaning.
Now to black fatigue, it has recently been turned into a feeling that some white and black people have who say they are damn tired of foolishness of some black people.
It is a completely behavior-based issue. And when white people, black people, Hispanic people are saying we have black fatigue because of the behavior of some black people, we've all seen it, we all know what it is, it's everywhere.
There are thousands.
Now, noticing they terming this, like what you said earlier, they terming it black fatigue, but black people don't just only act like that. There's Hispanic people that act like that. There are white people that act like that. There's German people. I mean, it's all kind of folks out here that acts like that. but they're terming, the whole psychology like black fatigue. Like we're tired of, like all the other races are tired of black people that are acting like this, as if nobody else acts like that other than black people.
But we sitting up there allowing, Demon stated that the focus is on us. So if the focus is on us, then this big conversation about black fatigue. But when white people was masters and putting us in slavery, I didn't. Do you see that they was focusing on that? Or when white people going to the school, the focus is not in shooting up, but the focus is not going to be on that. It's just going to be like one isolated incident. Anything we do is just focus on us. Serial killers, the cousin kissing cousin, the white people having sex with animals, but we don't focus on their behavior because, as they say, we just focus on what we do, and we allow everyone to focus on us that we forget or don't say anything. Well, if you're going to focus on us, then tell us what we're doing good. Tell us what we have grown in.
Yes.
So we have to try to switch it around too. Yes, it's quite a bit of bad thing that we as a group of people do, but can we say some of the good things that our people has started to do over the years, throughout the generation?
Yes, I agree. And what you said is so true, simply because it's like now about white people having sex with animals. Now, that's been a common knowledge for years, generations, years. We all know this, and we've heard this about white people having sex with animals, right? But as soon as a black person or black people start picking up that bad habit, almost like Diddy. We talk about Diddy and all the stuff that he did, and trafficking and what they call it, freak parties, all these things. Diddy learned that from a white man, Clive Davis. I'll say his name, and ain't nobody saying nothing about it. So like what you said, darling, and it's a very important point, that when it's them that's doing it, it's like, oh, it ain't nothing. So, but if we then begin to mimic them, then the narrative is like we created this thing. We started this. We've been doing this, and that's only because, again, the platforms that people listen to and watch, based on algorithms on social media, and just based on network channels, which they won't allow black people in, because you remember Bill Cosby tried to buy Channel 5, NBC, and they blocked him out. It was somebody else that tried to buy a TV station. But my point is, they won't let us own an actual network, and they won't let our algorithms get out, to the multitudes of people. And so if we were to say we wanted to project the good that's going on in our community, the good that black people are doing in the world and in the country and in the state and in the city and things of that nature, their algorithms, because it's their system of what? Communication. Is their communication system, and their algorithm says that your positive stuff don't sell. Your positive stuff don't get views, simply because, based on our algorithms, only this kind of information should get published to the multitude of people.
Yeah, but I think we need to just try again. I mean, as they say, and you fall, you get back up, and you fall down, get back up. But I can remember, I don't know if y'all on channel, what was it, Channel 19? I think it came from, I don't know. Channel 19 used to have what you independent. I think it was an independent channel.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It was a cable show. It was like, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But it wasn't one that, it wasn't major. But if you wanted to check something out, you can go there. I think we need to just try again and saying, we saw what happened. We know the traps. Not to get it mixed up either. Cultural and to me.
You said the canned TV. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. But we also got to, like when you was talking about the phone issue, that was morals. That was mannerism to me, teaching good behavior. And when we talk about the kids and we saying, oh, yeah, these kids is talking about, what do you say, Kim, it's called?
Teen takeovers.
Teen takeover. Okay. But if we're not saying anything good about the teen, then they're going to join in over there on that side because we're not saying anything. We're not praising them. We don't get the platform enough to praise them and say good behavior. So the more we keep on saying, nigga acting like this, the team doing this, y'all ain't nothing, we embarrassing you, acting like animals, we hoodlums, as long as we keep saying that, it's going to keep on until we speak something out. When we say the power in the tongue, well then let's not join in with them beating ourselves down. Let's keep on finding a solution. Let's keep on trying to find, like I say, if we fall and get back up, let's find a solution to how do we get our own platform? How do we get our own? I went and got my nails done and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, there was no other race but just Black people sitting there and I'm sorry about saying it, but I don't understand what the heck they're saying, but it's nothing but Black women's coming in there to get their nails done. And then if I go get my hair braided, it's us supporting that culture. If you go to Chinese, so when are we gonna find a way to get our own platform and feed our own self in the mountain? And I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, but I don't know where we go to shift over to that lane where we can be proud to say we're going into our own grocery store, we're going into our own salons, we're going into our own business, and we feeling good and pride. You know, that feeling that you had like self-made, you know, we proud to be Black, you know, almost like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you know what you're saying, when you was talking, I immediately went to Black barbershops and beauty salons, you know, where Black guys would go to a barbershop and get their hair cut. Now, in my days, there were no Black, well, there might have been Black barbershops, but the way that we got our hair cut is that one of our friends, or if our friend's daddy had clippers, and he would cut everybody's hair. Like I had a friend of mine that had clippers, and all of our friends would get our hairs cut by that friend. You see what I'm saying? Or my dad had a friend on his job that cut hair. He didn't have no shop, but he cut hair, and he would come to my house. And I remember them putting the bath towel around your neck and everything. You sit there in the chair, and then they cut your hair at home. And remember how I had to sweep up the hair after everything was done. I remember these things, you know. And so this is my understanding when you hear people saying, especially spiritual men and women saying we have to get back to basics. That's where I'm seeing it. We have to get back to our culture. We have to get back to cooking on Sundays, you know, and things like that. We have to get back to braiding our own children's hairs, you know, having that skill set, you know, whereas as our race gets younger, the younger they get, the less they want to do. They'd rather pay somebody else to do it. You know, like V was saying, because we busy doing other things or whatever. Or we just don't want to be seen as a person that don't know how to do that kind of stuff. I don't know how to cook. So we go out every night and eat like we kings and queens or whatever, you know, because I can't cook.
I don't think that it's just we can't not do things. I think sometimes we just sit up there trying to, what he said, everything is moving so fast. So my daughter could braid, I could French braid, but we still, I go to get my hair done. I think we in a time and we in a rush. We trying our best to get somewhere, what you said, be at the top or some place.
Going nowhere fast.
Yeah, trying to get to the top.
Yeah.
But you know, when he was talking, what came to my mind was this thing about finding a job or being employed. You know, a person that knows how to braid hair, you know, I think, because I remember there was young ladies that on the block that knew how to braid hair. Every dude on the block was sitting on her steps at some point in time getting their hair braided by this young lady, you know, because she knew how to braid hair. Now, that's a business. You see what I'm saying? As we all know, cooking can be a business, you know, but we don't think about opening our own business, you know, even if it's out of our house. You know, there are people that do hair in their basement, you know, and the only people that know about it is their close friends or associates and things of that nature, you know. And then if we did know, for some reason, because of this crab in the barrel mentality that we seem to have adapted as a people, and I'm speaking of Black people now, we don't want to support one another. You know I need to get my hair cut, but I'm not going to go to dude over here. Well, I can't use haircuts because usually we ain't going to let no other race cut our hair. We just ain't we got a certain way we want to see our hair done or cut or whatever. And we ain't just going to let anybody do that. But something like getting your hair braided or you know, tailors, people that actually still use sewing machines and make clothes and things like that, as we used to call it back in the day, tailor-made. You know, that's a job, you know. But people, because it's easier to go to Walmart or maybe not Walmart, what's the other, K&G. It's easier to go in K&G and get a suit. You see what I'm saying? Then let my friend make me a suit, you know, because my friend gonna charge me an arm and a leg, and I can go to K&G and maybe just give him an arm and keep my leg.
But when it comes to the business part, we have to also give the younger people, the younger generation, their credit, because as far as business, I have so many clientele that are barbers, are braiders, are beauticians, are caterers, have their own day, and they making quite a bit of money. The thing about being in the business, and I guess as far as Black, you compare like Walmart or you compare the shop, is that they can handle the demand. So when you are self-employed or you got your business going, unless you have many employees that can handle it, it's only so many hair you're going to be able to cut a day, how many heads you're going to braid, how many weddings or parties you're going to be able to cater to. So then again, we're going to go to the big stores or the big corporation because we need stuff done like this. And I think that's even with the mom and pop stores. It's not like nobody didn't know the store. It's just Walmart gonna keep a higher stock, and Jewel's gonna keep a higher stock than mom and pop. And the same business. We have a lot of creative young people who has took the craft and kept it going. It's making money. And you got more people sitting up there finding ways to do income, even as driving, shopping for other people. We are one of those cultures that do find a way. It's just that how do you take it from just making enough to making it corporate or making it so major?
Right. I mean, do you remember the Black Pages?
Yeah.
It don't exist no more.
No.
You know, but the Black Pages was created for businesses like that, you know, because everybody didn't know what you did or what kind of business you had or whatever. But if we could go to the Black Pages, and if I'm looking for a suit for my son to wear for graduation, and I go to the Black Pages and I see a black tailor in there that makes clothes and everything, then I would go to that black tailor, you know, instead of K&G.
Actually, it's your Black Pages, and even though you may be a tailor and you're on social media and you can't keep up, they're going to be proms, they're going to be weddings. How many can you actually do? Advertisement is not the same, but people, if you're a photographer, you out there, and the price is going up on because it's a high demand for it. So you have to go to the big, because we don't know how to, I think, merge.
Yes, work together.
Yeah.
Yes,
merge together to make us a bigger company or bigger corporation.
Yeah, like barbershops do. You know, they rent spaces to barbers. You know, chairs or a space or whatever.
Yeah, I got mobiles on the go. The barbers is on the go. They on the go just like Lyft, and they making quite a bit of money. But again, how many people can you take a day for yourself?
Yeah, but that's why you have to have a variety. You have to have a variety of tailors.
Merge. We
Black
have to
tailors.
merge together with the business.
You know, just like auto mechanics. You know, we have a lot of mechanics, black auto mechanics, and they can't fix everybody's cars, but there's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? We call them alley mechanics, right? You know, and there's a lot of them out there, you know, and people don't know who they are and where they are and things of that nature, but it's just like word of mouth. But the thing is that if you got a mechanic that you've done work with in the past, you usually go back to that person if they done good work.
It's gonna take about a week or two before he can get to your car because of his high demand, because he's that good.
Yeah,
it's gonna,
so you know what?
Go somewhere else because you can't wait for him, because it's gonna take him a week or two to get to you. So you're gonna end up going to Jiffy, somebody that can handle you right away.
But the thing is, this is where the problem come in, because what was wrong with that guy saying, "Hey, I can't get to you. I got about 20 clients that I got to get to within the next 30 days or whatever. But my guy over here, he can probably get to you." It's called referral.
Yeah, but the guy don't.
I have people that refer me for DJing gigs. You see what I'm saying? In contrast to saying, if somebody called me and they say, "Hey, I need you for this date and this and that and the other," I say, "Oh no, I'm booked on that date. But hey, my guy probably can do it for you. Here's his number. Give him a call." That's keeping it in the family, right? At least that's what we used to call it. But the thing is now, if I can't get to you, it's like, oh well, I ain't gonna try to bring nobody else up. I ain't gonna try to, put nobody else on. I'm gonna just, keep making my money, and I ain't looking out for nobody else. That's where the problem is.
But then also the problem could be that after so long, if you got a catering company and you can't handle it, and somebody got a wedding and you get a referral, and that person don't know how to cook, right? Or that person don't be clean. Or if you're a mechanic and you give them a referral to, "Hey, I'm busy," and then that person sit up there and do something else to your car. So a lot of times you'd be scared to make a referral because of the liability. So that's why I say again, we got to merge, like all the good ones have got the same kind of I don't know, belief.
The work ethic.
The work ethic, yeah.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. But this is where the problem is again, and we about to have our closing remarks, because our time is about up. But this is the problem. we act as if Jiffy Lube or these other mechanics are spot on in all of their repairs, and they spot on when they fix your stuff, like your stuff is really fixed and everything. You know, when they mess up your stuff, we don't say nothing, you know, other than, hey, fix my I asked you to flush my radiator, and you flush my brake line. You know, do what I paid you for. You know, but and we'll still go back to Jiffy Lube and all these other places and get our work done for them. But we will, if a black person make a mistake on our clothes, or on our food, or on our anything, we done with you. You ain't gonna never hear from me again. I ain't gonna never refer anybody to you. This is how we are with our own people, but we'll keep coming back to that black grocery store or that Arab grocery store that keep slapping your women on their butt and keep calling them bees and hoes and stuff like that in the store, and you come back every day and still support them and give them your money. What kind of psychology is that? You see what I'm saying? Something's wrong in there. If we could forgive them for doing stuff to us, but we can't forgive ourselves for making a mistake. Nobody's perfect, right?
Right.
So my closing thought about this cultural thing, you know, is that, you know, I can only live by the culture that I grew up under, you know, and the musicians, the entertainers, the actors, actresses, playwrights, all of those people that were operating during the time that I was growing up, from my 20s to my 30s. Well, maybe I should say my teens to my 30s. And all those people that were a part of my upbringing as examples, people that I looked to or looked up to, they shaped who I am today, along with our parents and our family, our friends, our relatives, all that. They shaped who I am today. The people that are shaping who our kids are today are those same people, but they're different now, you know? And we have to understand that when we say do it for the culture, you got to be mindful of who you talking to, how old they are, because that's going to depend on or depict what culture you talking about, you know, because these cultures ain't the same. Like the video that we saw, it's a black fatigue culture that's out here too. People that's pissed off as hell about, I call them niggas. That's what I call the people that they are fatigued with. They are fatigued with black niggas. And I'm saying that black people as a whole ain't like that. So be mindful when we speak and have conversations about black culture, because black culture is different for a person that was born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020s and on. It's different. So that's my closing thought. Anybody else have anything you want to say?
I don't have anything.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
My closing thought is if anyone's watching or rewatch it and you have a solution or idea of what we can do to get back up and to take over the platform, send make a note, a comment or something. So we could keep on moving forward. I'm not giving up.
Oh, we can't give up. Heck no. You know, I mean, that's the whole point for this kind of platform, you know, this podcast, is that we keep talking about it and we keep coming up with ways or solutions, you know, or thoughts and ideas or what can be done, you know, in order to improve,
yes,
you know, the things that we're talking about. So, hey, I thank you guys for being here. We had a few people that couldn't make it tonight, but I'm glad you guys were able to come through. And I think we had an interesting conversation, and we were able to understand clearly, I believe, what culture is. We talked about the 5 things, that depicts a culture: food, music, clothing, language, and tradition. Let's pick up Black traditions and Black foods, and let's begin to reshape the Black culture into a culture that all of us can be proud of. And thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can't monetize our channel until we get a certain amount of subscribers. And when I say monetizing, I'm saying that we want to be able to, I want to be able to hire a person to be the person that brings up the comments that people make, and when we say certain things about Trump, or if we're talking about politics or whatever, that they can bring up certain still shots to kind of show what we're talking about. You have to pay people like that, and we just aren't in the position to be able to do that. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Omari JAHI, and then the transformation. Say again.
Can you acknowledge the people who did?
Yes, I am. And our YouTube channel, Transformation Institute Podcast for Change. Type that in, our channel will pop right up. So with that, I'd like to thank who is this? Boss Up. Is that Boss? Oh yeah, Boss Up made a few no. Bobby White, thank you for your comments. The bearded one was on here. We haven't heard from him in a minute. Thank you, my brother, for being on tonight. Carl. Yeah, Carl, what you talking about, Willis? And my wife, Yolanda, she ain't, I guess her phone died. She was on somebody else's phone. So she was on here watching and everything. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your comments. Until next week, continue to think for a change. I'm Omari JAHI. These are my co-hosts, Darlene, Kim, and V. Until next week, peace and hair grease.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.